Good evening, everyone. This is the August 11th, 2025 meeting of the Town of Barnstable's Comprehensive Financial Advisory Committee. My name's Christopher Lozon. I am the chair of the committee. Under Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 20F, any member of the public is welcome to record this meeting as long as they identify themselves. Would any member of the public like to do so? Hearing none, I will say this is being recorded by the town and will be available anyway after the meeting. Um, Jeremy, would you like to take the roll?
I would love to.
It's your first time. Don't
I
screw
know this is an auspicious moment.
Hope you're good.
Christopher Lozon,
here.
Lillian Wu,
Here.
Jim Sproul,
Present.
Tom Keene,
Here.
Chris King,
Here.
Hector Gunther,
Here.
and I am here. We're all here. Nice job, everyone. It's good to be back.
Yes, welcome back.
And congratulations.
Oh, thank you kindly. It was a splendid wedding. We had tons of fun, and it was we had some fun in Costa Rica too. So all in all, it was excellent.
Good. Well, we'll move right on to public comment. I know we have a few members of the public here, and there were several emails submitted to me as well, which I shared with the committee. Hopefully you were able to review those, but how many, do we have a list of the members of the public here?
The only one I received notice that wanted to participate in public comment was Mr. Schwab.
Hi, it's Eric Schwab. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to speak. Director Milne shared a CFAC report from 2021. It's a quick little memo that essentially validated the current funding for the Comprehensive Wastewater Management Plan. It's been 5 years. There's been some question about how Wilkins 1 and 2 are impacting the town and the residents. So I would ask politely that you consider reviewing that memo from 2021 and perhaps updating it. Some of the numbers that I've been able to cobble together indicate to me that single-family homeowners are subsidizing multifamily housing units considerably. The cost of just Wilkins 2, I put a spitball estimate of $651,000 on it. You can break that down, per household if you want to, but it's enough money to change the fiscal benefit that that New England development is claiming, right? I mean, they're claiming a $400,000 or $500,000 benefit to the town. I think just on wastewater disposal, just on effluent disposal, we're in a net negative situation. We're losing money bringing that building on. But I'm not the professional here. You guys are. So I'm really just asking you guys to take this challenge on, and hopefully you would consider passing judgment over to the ZBA until you had a chance to do that. So if you need a little extra time, I'm sure the ZBA would help you. But I really think we need to understand the numbers a little better before you give a thumbs up. Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it greatly.
Thank you, Mr. Schwab. We appreciate the comments. I see there's also Heather Swenson and Bob Schulte present. Do either of you want to make comments?
This is Bob Schulte. I'm just observing tonight. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Chris, I'm not sure if you see, but Betty Lutke has her hand raised.
Okay, I did not see that. Thank you. Go ahead, Betty.
Thank you. Yeah, I just wanted to maybe echo what Eric Schwab had to say. Um, been asked to look at what the developer proposed in their financial analysis, and I think you've done that. I haven't had the opportunity to look at your letter yet. Hopefully, you're going to review that tonight so we could all see it. But I think it's interesting to see what isn't in there. And I know there's a lot of effort going on with the CWMP right now. The ad hoc committee is reviewing it, doing the 5-year review. I know Mark Milne presented that beautiful tool, and your committee had an amazing conversation about that on what levers you could pull to keep us where we need to be. And we are seeing an enormous amount of multifamily coming online. And I think it would be wise to look at what Mr. Schwab recommended. I don't have the expertise myself, but I just know there's so many moving parts in the CWMP right now, and not to mention flow neutral, which we just voted on. So there's a lot of parts there to put together. I'm not haven't been sitting in on the ad hoc committee, the 5-year review committee, so I'm not sure where they are, how much financial review. That might be something, Chris, that you could ask. Um, how closely they're looking at that. So that's it. Thank you.
Appreciate it, Counselor. Is there any other public comment? Okay, so I'm hearing none. Any members of the committee wish to speak to what was said during public comment?
I just want to make a short comment about the 2021 CWMP financial management plan that CFAC put together at the request of town council. And it based on what we have seen and heard, perhaps town council would like us to update that review.
Okay. Yeah, and I guess I'll just add, and this is in the report that we're going to review anyway, towards the end. CFAC's role is strictly advisory, so just so the public is clear, we have no regulatory authority. We were asked to review these numbers by the town council and by the ZBA, just the veracity of the numbers to see if they are reasonable as presented by the developer. Um, I think it is something the town should look at in a broader sense as far as the wastewater issue goes. And I think, personally, we're going to discuss this. I know some of the committee members disagree with me, but I think there should be something in the report advising the ZBA to examine those possible costs and possible revenue sources related to that. But we'll get deeper into that. I just want to make sure the public knows CFAC's role is strictly advisory. So that I'll close public comment and we'll go to the approval of the minutes from our last meeting of August 4th.
Move the approval.
Seconded.
Okay, moved and seconded. Jeremy, can you call the roll?
Of course.
Or is there any discussion? I'm sorry. No discussion. All right, go ahead, Jeremy. Thank you.
Christopher Lazan,
Yes.
Lillian Wu,
Yes.
Jim Sproul,
Yes.
Tom Keene,
Yes.
Chris King,
Yes.
Hector Gunther,
I'll recuse myself. I wasn't at the meeting.
and I will also abstain.
Okay. Minutes pass. So now the crux of the meeting, the review and hopefully adoption of the report that we drafted on the fiscal impact analysis for phase 2 of the Wilkins Lane project. Well, before we get too deep into the discussion, I just wanted to say an editorial kind of thing. It says DMV in a lot of places, and it should say RMV. We have a registry of motor vehicles, not a department of motor vehicles. So I just noticed that when I was looking through it. DMV should be RMV. everywhere it shows up.
And along that same line, just a super nit is that we use the expression MV for the expense and income and expense analysis. There wasn't a parentheses for MV for that acronym. We should put that in the first paragraph somewhere as well.
I'm sorry, where was that? Tell me.
We use the acronym MV in our analysis, and I didn't see it called out. Typically, if you're writing motor vehicles, you'd spell that out and then put in parenthesis MV, just so someone looking at the report and didn't understand what MV was, they would have a reference.
So are you looking at the draft, the draft of
Yes.
810?
I thought so. Yeah, the red line draft, yes.
Not a red line. So what?
Well, if you look at the, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm forgetting. So I didn't.
Because I'm just doing a search and I don't see MV. I
If you
see.
look in the, if you don't see it, then I'll withdraw my comment.
Okay, if you
Well,
see it, if you just
yeah, I would say in a lot of the tables where it talks about motor vehicle excise tax, the revenue line says MV tax revenue. In the draft I'm looking at, I believe it's the most current draft.
in the tables.
Yeah, on page 3, there's a table about excise tax.
Mr. Chairman, would you like me to share my screen to bring the report up? So you
Yeah,
can
I think that would be good. Thank you.
The header, however, does say motor vehicle excise tax.
Right, I think to Jim's point, though.
All I'm just saying is when I saw MV in the table, I didn't know what MV stood for, and it took me a second to catch up. That's all.
Okay.
That's where I'm coming from.
Okay, and this is this is on page 3.
This is on page 3. Under revenues, it says motor vehicles excise taxes, and then we've got that table. And then the header says Wilkins 1 motor vehicle excise tax, and below that says MV tax revenue.
Oh, okay.
So we thought that it was
Given that says
clear.
MV, yeah.
Yeah, sorry about that. We thought it was clear.
Okay, I can change that.
Lillian and Tom, I think I might have found one small error on page 8 at the bottom, the last line. Where it talks about the positive approximately 400 and, sorry, let me get my glasses on. 485K, and it says 48 better than NED's projections. I think it should say 48K better.
Correct. You're correct. Thank you for finding it. You see that, Tom?
Tell me again what page that's on.
Page 8.
Page 8, the bottom line, where it says approximately 485K, and then you have a dash, and it should be 48K better than the NED.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just $48.
Yeah.
It's worth mentioning.
I tell you, we need as many sets of eyes as possible.
That's why I brought it up. Humbly bringing it up because I know what it means to
Thank you.
write these things.
Any other changes?
Well, just to continue what I had brought up at the end of public comment there, I do think it is important to mention, again, I'm trying to think of how to word this, not that it's our role to recommend that the ZBA push for some kind of sewer impact fee or anything like that, but simply to mention that the potential fiscal impacts are significant because of the size of the project, and the ZBA should take a closer look at what those numbers are. I think that's something that's really missing from the analysis is the potential impact due to wastewater because of the size of the project. So I know there's the second to last paragraph on page 10.
Mhm.
It
Yes,
mentions that commenters have been bringing this up. I think
yeah,
it really shows how important this issue is, though. I mean, we've never had public comment that I can remember on this committee in the last 3 years. Um, Not any significant public comment. And this is something in my conversations with members of the ZBA that came up repeatedly. So I think it is important for us to recommend that the ZBA explore all possible revenue sources related to this project.
And how does that,
Maybe a different way to say it, Chris, is in our analysis, one area that might be missing is um, the charges to New England Development related to um, connecting to the sewer, and then the ongoing charges. The reason why I bring it up that way, Chris, is that it's, as you said, we're here to analyze based on the will of the town council. They asked us to analyze this, and um, I just want to be cautious that we're not making a recommendation um, that is not part of the analysis that we've been asked to do.
Right. Yeah, no, your point is well taken. And I want to be clear in the report that we're not advocating to impose some sort of fee or,
Or not,
whatever. But right, we're
no,
not advocating either way. We're
right, one way or
saying
the other.
saying the ZBA should look further into the possibility of what that looks like, if it's possible, if it's necessary, what the impact is if there is not some sort of connection fee, what the impact is if there is, what that might look like. I think it is an omission in the report, and in the report provided by the developer.
So suppose we had this language also on page 10 and right after the paragraph that says those are the roles of town council and town staff. Suppose there was a couple of lines that said this. In addition, commentators questioned the cost of wastewater disposal of Wilkins too. CFAC was not asked to analyze this issue, but rather defers to the Zoning Board of Appeals judgment.
I'd buy that.
Yeah, I mean I think that's fine that, the ZBA ultimately has the decision to make whether they want to look deeper at that anyway. So, yeah, I think
Yeah.
the report needs something that addresses that and,
Does that seem adequate to you, Chris?
yeah. I like your suggestion, Tom.
Yes.
I,
And the ZBA does report to the town council?
Yep.
Uh, okay,
well, so
so
I mean, the ZBA themselves is going to make the decision on the
Right.
special permit.
Right.
right,
And
right.
then
ZBA
depending, if the ZBA were to deny the permit, that can be appealed. There's a process for that. But if they were to grant it, then that's the end of the story. So,
Right.
um, that I think just for the sake of covering all the bases, we definitely need something in there advising the ZBA to ensure that they've taken a close look at all of those things because it wasn't in the data presented to us. So it
Right.
wasn't really something that we reviewed. So maybe they want to acquire that data and have us review it, or they don't.
Correct.
I'd also like to go back to the report in 2021. I mean, where we did make that recommendation to the town council. And if we're going to continue to add scope to our letter, that I'd like to bring that recommendation language to that. We've already done that once and made the recommendation to town council that they look at this, and they chose not to. I just am really being protective about scope creep to this assignment and being protective of the work that we have. We're right around the corner. We have our financial overview for the fiscal year. And then with September, we're starting already with our operating budgets and capital improvement plans. And I'd personally like to see if there's an interest I think the comments made by the public have been awesome, and I fully support Chris, your comments. I just want to keep pulling us back a little bit. Forgive me if I can, into what the assignment was, what we've looked at in the past, and where we're going forward. And if there is requirement for greater detail, I'm all for looking at that. I'm just saying, given the charge we were provided for this assignment, I mean, it's going to be a 12-page document done in 4 weeks. That's a Herculean lift, and I just like to see if we can stay on track and respond to the council's request to review it, provide an analysis, and move on. And if there's more ways that we can encourage a review in the future, I'm all for that. I just think it's important to capture what we've been asked to do and move forward. So that's kind of how I
Fear
feel.
of mission creep, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Jim, to add to what you're saying is that we have a charter that has been given to us by the town council, and that's our charter. We really can't change that charter, which is your mission creep. And we shouldn't change that charter unless it's a change of the charter from town council.
Right. Yeah. For us to actually look at that, it would require another directive.
Right.
But yeah, it definitely needs to be addressed that that is an unknown. So I think,
Sure.
Tom, what was that language you had again, Tom? Can you?
I'll reread it. In addition, commentators questioned the cost of wastewater disposal of Wilkins too. CFAC was not asked to analyze this issue, but rather defers to the Zoning Board of Appeals judgment.
Perfect. That is perfect. That means that we don't take any position on it whatsoever.
Right.
So, Chris, if I could, I'd like to just speak to this issue. So,
Yes.
in our charter, we advise the town council. One part of the charter is to advise the council and the town manager on matters of long-range financial planning. And I believe that under that part of the charter, I think we ought to address, perhaps in the way that Tom is suggesting, the cost of wastewater. And I think there's a fairness issue involved here and an equity issue here because new when the sewer is constructed past the residence and the sewer and the resident hooks up to the sewer, they pay an assessment. So they also pay a contractor for the cost of running a pipe out to the street and connecting, but they pay an assessment. And then that 2021 report, we did recommend to the town council, I would add, an assessment of $17,000. The council reduced the assessment to $10,000. I think it's a matter of fairness that CFAC, again, under the header of long-range financial planning and advising the town council on that CFAC should bring up the issue of a multifamily housing project with 320 units being given the privilege of hooking up to the town sewer without any assessment on each unit. So I think it's a matter of fairness and equity that not only the zoning board of appeals should consider, but I would add in Tom's language, town council should consider an assessment of per residential unit of some amount. And I personally believe that this project and every multifamily project going forward should be charged an assessment. And what that amount is, it's not for us to recommend, but I think it's a policy that the town council and ZBA, but especially town council, ought to consider and adopt as a policy going forward. So
Hector, this is probably before my time, but do I understand that town council that CFAC did recommend this to town council and council rejected it?
The town council, CFAC recommended an assessment of $17,000 per residential unit hooking up to the new sewer that's being constructed. And what town council did, Tom, is they cut that amount to $10,000,
Good.
the assessment. So
Right. And so,
That's
so
what
my,
it
under-
was.
my,
I thought there was a
That's kind of a
special,
judgment call.
thought there was a system development charge that we reviewed. So I'm sorry, I'll defer.
Mark, why don't you go over that for us, please?
Yeah, thank you, sir, Mr. Chairman. So I think it's getting a little confused here between what a system development charge is and what a sewer assessment is. I think what the public has commented on to the committee here regarding this project is more along the lines of a systems development charge. And what that does is that's a fee for paying into the existing capacity that we've created in our sewer infrastructure. That's what a system development charge is. And we had commissioned a study back in 2019 when we were putting together our comprehensive wastewater management plan to calculate what an appropriate system development charge would be at that time. And I shared that report with the committee members after the last meeting. And so, but it was never adopted. When we brought forward the funding mechanisms for the CWMP, we included the potential of a systems development charge on top of sewer assessments and many other things. But that didn't go anywhere. I think the feeling at that time was that homeowners were going to be hit with a sewer assessment to cover the cost of the new infrastructure being created. And that's an important distinction. Sewer assessments are only charged for new infrastructure that we build. The existing infrastructure, which is what Wilkins is tying into, they don't get a sewer assessment for this project because that's existing infrastructure. Instead, if we wanted to capture any kind of fee for tying into that existing infrastructure, we would have to adopt what's known as a systems development charge. So they're two very different charges. So I think in the broader context, the larger scope of things, the idea of implementing a systems development charge could be explored once again, whether the town council asks this committee to do that in conjunction with Department of Public Works. We would certainly be happy to take that to the next level and discuss that, because if we do bring one on board, if we do adopt a systems development charge, I think it would have to be uniformly applied, not only to projects like Wilkins, but to other homeowners tying into the existing infrastructure. And that includes people who are included in the system's expansion. So not only would those folks receive a sewer assessment, a connection cost that they would have to incur connecting to this public sewer system, the annual utility bill that would then they would have to pay, but they would also have to then pay a systems development charge for their share of the existing infrastructure that they're tying into. Because we have this plant, we can treat and dispose of their wastewater. Just can't collect it, so we have to build a collection system, which is what we're doing for them. But they would have to pay a fee as well. And I think the report that I sent out calculated that fee at about $2,500 for a single family home. So just think about that's another fee that we would have to ask homeowners to pay. But you can't just pick one project here and one project there, and decide to charge them a systems development charge. It has to be uniformly applied. And when you look at all the multifamily units that we have coming online and potentially being built, it's probably worth a discussion to have once again.
In your understanding, a system development charge would have to be charged to every single property that would be hooking up, not just, you can't specify multifamily units as opposed to a single family residence.
Yeah,
it have to be every
that
property.
could be the case, Chris. That could be. I'm not exactly sure that you can pick and choose like that, but I think if you do implement one, in on all fairness, it has to be uniformly applied.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I agree with Hector's, logic that this is a long-term fiscal impact to the town that we should be re-examining. But that is an important distinction. The assessment for hookups to the new sewer system and this proposed system development charge, those are two separate things. And the sewer's already existing in Independence Park where Wilkins is going in. But yeah, it's difficult, but the town council really needs to take action on that.
I agree.
The chair.
Mark, if I could ask a hypothetical, suppose there were a multifamily, this is this is truly hypothetical, multifamily development that was on septic, say a 10 unit condominium on septic, and the new sewer passed by that property. What would, in your understanding, the charge be per unit to that 10 unit condominium?
Yeah,
Would each unit be charged an assessment?
yes, yes. If they're not along existing sewer infrastructure that has already been
Mhm.
built, and we had to run a new sewer main in
Mhm.
front of that property, yes, there would be charged a sewer each unit would be charged a sewer assessment based on the size of the unit. If it's a half a unit, one bedroom or less, it would be $5,000 under our current ordinance. If it's greater than that, it would be $10,000.
And 10,000 is the maximum.
That is the maximum currently.
Yeah.
I want to
Well, I
go,
think,
can
again,
I, can I just interject here? I want to go
sure.
back. I want to go back to Mark's comments about the systems development charge that we talked about in 2019. CFAC incorporated that into its report in 2021. And CFAC was the proposed fee at that point, if you remember, Mark, was $1,600 to offset the portion of the infrastructure costs. It was a standalone fee, and what CFAC decided was that it could be absorbed by the general fund and would not detract from or be confused with the bigger sewer assessment costs. And consequently, CFAC's position at that time was to eliminate the proposed systems development charge. Now, that's all incorporated into that 2021 report that we did. And as I said earlier, it may be time for the town council to ask us to look at these charges again.
Yeah, I think it definitely is time to
Yeah,
re-examine that. So yeah, I agree with Hector. I would add in that paragraph, Tom, town council as well as, the ZBA, however that was written.
yeah.
Yeah,
Tom, if you could read that sentence one more time.
sure. In addition, commentators question the cost of wastewater disposal, um, of the wastewater disposal from Wilkins to CFAC was not asked to analyze this issue, but rather defers to the town council and the zoning board of appeals judgment.
Okay, can we
Perfect.
add, commentators question I'm sorry, it's tough without it right in front of me to word it
I
properly.
know.
Um,
But so and maybe if the system development charge, how about this? In addition, commentators question the cost of wastewater disposal and questioned whether there should be a system development charge levied on Wilkins 2. CFAC is not asked to analyze this issue, but rather defers to the town council and the zoning board of appeals judgment.
yeah, I think
I,
that's good. We should be as specific as possible without, stepping in it.
Yeah.
Well, that covers it.
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
So we're all in agreement to add that to the report.
Yes.
so
Yes, sounds like
Tom,
that.
that first sentence where you have language, novel ways that the town may be able to extract additional payments, you're taking
That's
that
still
out.
there. No, I'm not. No, because
So where's your sentence going after
it's
that first
immediately
sentence?
after that. It's immediately
Okay.
after that.
Okay.
All right. Um, yeah, and just so for the benefit of the committee, the the tables that are in there were actually created in Excel, and so they're not editable via Word, which is what you're looking at right now. But I have made those changes, so we've been talking, and we'll put in the new tables that reflect motor vehicle rather than MV.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Any other comments on this
I
report?
just had one other question in regards to Attorney Ford's email to us. I just wanted to understand, as we, I guess in some sense, to shift costs, etc. He made a statement that the affordable tenants receive monthly rent credits towards the utilities. Is there a potential, as we push forward on this, that there's unintended consequences where they might have to pull back on offers such as these? So if they're through their business model have budgeted for monthly rent credits, is this something that would be taken out in the future?
You mean if there were a development charge?
Yeah, if there
Probably.
was.
I mean, yeah, but that's not for us to decide at this point, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
It's maybe not. It's granted. I agree. It's not for us to decide, but it could be an unintended consequence.
I think if we were to do an analysis of this, that would be one of the things we would have to look at because, you know, any development is a business and, you know, they've got certain costs that they can, and you impose another cost, then maybe they have to reduce another expense.
Gotcha. That's my point. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
Jeremy, did you have any comments? I hope you were able to review everything. I know you were gone.
Uh, I mean, first off, my comments are admiration. I think the committee's work in a short amount of time has been impressive to see. And the report itself, I think, takes the critical eye seriously of looking at what was presented and going through what I had read from the developers and then from the report itself. I think it reflects what both town council would want to see, but also the public wants to see, that there's been thought into this, because clearly this is, as noted, a topic that has aroused the interest of the public. And frankly, I think that's awesome. I think this community sometimes doesn't get as interested in financial matters as perhaps we all wish they would. So I think we're taking the lens of advisors seriously, and what has been written in this report. There's nothing that causes me pause. So excellent work, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any comments from any other committee members? Okay, well, that being said, I would entertain a motion to approve the report with the edits that were discussed.
Motion to approve.
Seconded.
Second,
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Can we get a roll call, Jeremy?
Certainly. Christopher Lozon,
Yes.
Lillian Wu,
yes.
Jim Sproul,
Yes.
Tom Keene,
Yes.
Chris King,
Yes.
Hector Gunther,
Yes.
and I am a yes.
Okay,
And-
excellent. So the report is passed with those edits. And once
then
you
just
have,
in terms of process, I'll get the final version out. Probably not tonight, but certainly by tomorrow morning. And
yeah,
I'll
so
just
as soon as,
circulate it to everybody, and Mark, they can then distribute it, I guess.
yeah, we'll distribute it to the town council and the ZBA and the developer, and it will be available to the public in the minutes of this meeting, and it'll be publicly distributed as well.
Right.
So,
Okay.
excellent work, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mark, could I ask a favor? Could you, when you distribute, could you include Sarah, Superintendent Ahern, and the Deputy Finance Director Dewey? Please.
Yes, I will, Jim.
Thank you.
As well as both chiefs, police chief and Chief Beal and Chief Chalice. I'll let them.
Yes, yeah,
That would be
everybody
great.
concerned. Yep. Okay, any correspondence from committee members? Postcard from Costa Rica, Jeremy?
I don't know if this goes under correspondence, but I'm honored to, I haven't mentioned being voted for clerk. But I wonder if under my duties other than roll call, if putting together perhaps something for the public of saying like a report out from us, I don't know if that would be a way to perhaps engage the public more, of just keeping people abreast of the committees, what we look at. So just a thought that I wanted to put out there to think of how we can engage the town a bit more in the excellent work that we do.
Okay.
Well, funny you should mention that because we're getting ready to do our annual financial overview report, which is circulated to the public.
Yes. And obviously, I mean, the minutes are available to the public, but we certainly can discuss if we want to do some kind of abbreviated version of that that's more digestible. And if you want to take that on, that's fine with me. But we can discuss that. That's not a problem.
Great.
Anything from staff?
Our next regularly scheduled meeting is August 25th. At that meeting, I will be away that week, so Gareth Markwell will be hosting in my absence. I believe the agenda right now stands at, the conversation about the preparation of the next financial overview report. And so I will circulate last year's report to all the committee members, and we can go from there.
Excellent. I don't think any, or Counselor Lutke, you're still present. Did you have anything else you wanted to say?
Just to thank you for your doing this work so well and so quickly. Thank you so much. And we look forward, I think, on the council, I think it's trying to be fit in where we do the financial overview and you present the model that Mark Milne presented. I think that would be nice. As I reminded you last time, we have our first strategic planning session starting on September 11th. And the financial outlook, health, future of the town should be paramount in any discussion of strategy. So I think a lot more to come for you folks. Thank you.
We appreciate the opportunity. Thank you. Okay. I think that's it for staff. So I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. So Jeremy, if you can call the roll.
Christopher Lazon,
Yes.
Lillian Wu,
Yes?
Jim Sproul,
Yes.
Tom Keene,
Yes.
Chris King,
Yes.
Hector Gunther,
Yes.
and I am a yes.
Excellent.